Basketball is back, and we've got a lot of it coming your way.
Including a double overtime thriller, but we also can't forget about hockey.
And Quinnipiac sports out in full force this weekend. We'll bring you all the highlights and the scores next on Sports Paws.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sports Paws. I'm Mark Spillane.
And I'm Jordan Siegler. The Quinnipiac men's basketball team tipped off its season with a thrilling double overtime victory versus Yale in the Connecticut 6 Classic. Let's get right to the highlight. Now, we're going to start with a flashback here. Justin Sears for Yale draining the buzzer beater off the glass to beat Quinnipiac. That ended their season last year. So now let's jump ahead to the beginning of the season this year. Yale and Quinnipiac facing once again to kick off the new season. There you see Justin Harris with his teammates before the game. He's going to be a big part of this one. And there you see Justin Sears, Javier Duran for Yale. And hey, there's President John Leahy in the house. Start off in the second half. You see Usman bring up the ball. And then Justin Harris going to take the feed from Kasim Chandler for the easy lay. And Harris had 12 points off the bench in this one. A little while later, Zaid Hurst comes off the screen, gets the pass. Nice little step back jumper and buckets. Hurst had 34 points in this one. Now let's go to the overtime period. Javier Duran, he had 26 points for Yale. He fouls out early on. Now Coach James Jones trying to draw up a play for Yale. And you see Jack Montague looking like Justin Sears. The three-pointer that ties it up, sends it to double overtime. In the double overtime period, Quinnipiac up by 5. Yale trying to come back. Shot off the mark there. Ball up for grabs, and it's Justin Harris jumping on the loose ball. Quinnipiac goes on to win 88-85. Here's Morey Hershgordon with more after the game.
The Quinnipiac University Bobcats used two senior efforts to defeat crosstown rival Yale on Friday night, 88-85, in a double overtime thriller at the TD Bank Sports Center. One of those seniors many people may not have known about until tonight.
Justin Harris was immense, just immense. Because as we're preparing for this game, he really wasn't a huge part of the rotation in practice every day. So it's very difficult to do what he did tonight, and a ton of respect for him.
In 20 minutes of work, Harris scored 12 points on 5 of 6 shooting, connecting on 2 important free throws. Despite never playing consistent minutes throughout his career to date, Harris knew he was capable of a big night.
I've been ready and been prepared, so I've been playing against some of the best players that come out of Quinnipiac, as a team, Usman Drame, they're some of the best big men in the league. So going against that competition on a daily basis, when you finally get an opportunity, it feels great to do what I did out there tonight.
Going forward, Tom Moore will slowly rely more on number 22.
I know one thing, he earned a ton of trust from the head coach going into Tuesday.
When the ball's loose, somebody's got to go after it. To earn my minutes, I got to be the first person to get the ball. So there was no way I wasn't getting the basketball.
Along with Harris, the Bobcats' preseason second-team All-MAAC selection had a night to remember.
Sounds funny to say you expect 35 points out of Zaid Hurst, but he plays 49 out of the 50 minutes, and he's in such great shape that you expect him to put up a big number.
There's one reason why head coach Tom Moore named Zaid Hurst a captain for the first time in his 7 years in Hampden.
He spends more time stretching, preparing. He eats right, he sleeps right, he keeps the wrong things out of his body. He makes great choices. It's a whole deal for him. I hold him up on a pedestal, and that's why I named him captain, because I think he's just a great role model for all the younger kids to follow. We've never had a kid who wants to win more than Zaid Hurst. Never.
From Lender Court, I'm Morey Hershgordon, Q30 Sports.
Following his career best performance, Zaid Hurst was named MAAC Player of the Week. Hurst scored 34 points along with 11 rebounds and 5 assists. This was Hurst's 11th career double-double. Hurst played in all but 1 minute of the team's 88-85 double overtime victory against Yale. Hurst was one of 10 players in the country to score 30 during this year's opening weekend, and his total ranked second in the country behind only Marcus Marshall of Missouri State, who scored 38. Now a quick update on the LaSalle Quinnipiac game going on right now. LaSalle is up 52-48 with under 4 minutes to play. All right, we're now going to bring in our basketball expert, Jordan Katz. Jordan, how you doing?
Guys, I'm outstanding, and Mark, that suit looks phenomenal.
It's
Absolutely
brand new.
top-notch.
Jordan, it's brand new. I appreciate the compliment, man.
All right, enough about the suit, guys. Let's jump right into it. Zaid Hurst had an unbelievable game, 34 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. Talk a little bit about what he was in that game.
Zaid Hurst, guys, was the X factor for this team, and he was so important for them because Ousmane Dramé was inconsistent throughout the entire night. What Zaid Hurst brought to the table was he brought the consistent scoring load. He was a force on the glass. He had 11 rebounds, and he gave them a scoring punch at the end of the game that actually helped to open up other players. You saw late in the game in the second overtime, there was a pick and pop play where Justin Harris wound up wide open from 15 feet from about the elbow line extended on the right-hand side, knocked down a jumper, gave the Bobcats a 4-point lead because the defense had to pay so much attention to Zaid Hurst. If Zaid Hurst can be that scoring, that consistency throughout the entire season, this Bobcat team could be really dangerous.
Jordan, you talked a little bit about Ousmane Dramé's inconsistent play. He was kind of sloppy in the game against Yale. So while Zaid was the good, Ous was the bad, I guess you could say. What was causing him to have such difficulties and be so inconsistent?
Well, you know what's funny, Mark, is despite the fact that Ousmane Dramé wasn't that great scoring the ball, he had 7 blocks. I mean, when you have 7 blocks in the stat line, you don't consider that a bad night. He was a terror on the defensive side. He looked inconsistent offensively, and he looked like he wasn't necessarily quite healed from that knee injury. And I think that's the thing that I would chalk it up to. But listen, this kid is going to be a dominant force for this team all throughout the seasons, particularly on the defensive end. And again, if he can provide that second scoring punch to Zaid Hurst, and he can be around 15, 16, 17 points per game, now this team can be really dangerous.
All right, Jordan, let's talk about the point guard position. You had Kasim Chandler starting at point guard. We know Gio McLean is not playing for the time being. Did they miss him at all? How did Kasim Chandler do in that role?
Not good. It was inconsistent. It was everything that you would expect from a guy that you didn't expect to start. Again, when you have Gio McLean and you bring in someone and you invest so much into a transfer and you expect him to be the guy that leads you going forward, and now he's not there, and you ask someone who was a backup who had troubles turning the ball over at points in times last year, and now you say, okay, go play 28 minutes. So that's not the way it works. He's got to become a little more comfortable. He's got to do the little things. There were a number of plays in that game where Kasim Chandler got caught in the air, got caught sort of in between what he wanted to do, where he would jump up and he would want to pass the ball to somebody, but the pass wasn't there, so he'd then have to force up an awkward shot, or he'd wind up turning the ball over. As a point guard, you can never get caught in the air. So Kasim Chandler has to become more consistent. I think he will down the road. I think it's going to take time. But listen, guys, Dimitri Flores didn't have a great game at the point guard either. He went over the top of a number of screens, and that's not what Tom Moore preaches. Tom Moore preaches defensively, you go underneath screens because we want to hold teams to 40% or lower from the field. And the way you do that is you go underneath screens and you give teams jump shots from about 20 feet and out rather than from inside of 18 feet. So if Dimitri Flores also has to become more consistent, but Kasim Chandler really needs to become consistent, particularly in terms of handling the ball.
Thanks a lot, Jordan. Great stuff as always. Well, there was basketball to be played at Lender Court before Quinnipiac and Yale ever stepped on the court last Friday. Fairfield topped Central Connecticut State 71-63 to open the tournament, despite 30 points off the bench from the Blue Devils' Matt Mobley. Fairfield fell behind 8-0 to start the contest, but used double-digit points from 4 different players to erase the deficit and take command. The Stags led 35-26 at the half, and the lead never dipped below 5 the rest of the way.
Now, in the nightcap of the Connecticut Six was a blowout. Underdog Sacred Heart winning 71-53 over Hartford. Sacred Heart's Devon Barrett led the way with 18 points and 7 rebounds. Hartford cut the lead to 1 early in the second half on a score by Yolonzo Moore, but it was followed by a 9-0 run by the Pioneers, and they never looked back.
Well, we've got a long way to go here on Sports Paws, and after the break, we'll update you on the MAAC Soccer Championships that took place here in Hampton over the weekend, and we'll take a look at how Quinnipiac women's basketball has started this season. We'll be right back. Stay with us on Sports Paws.
The Bobcat Shop, located at 1010 Sherman Avenue in Hampton. Your #1 choice for Bobcat merchandise. The Bobcat Shop features 2 floors of countless styles and colors. With a full 19,000 square foot screen printing and embroidery operation on the premises, Campus Customs and Simplify can design and decorate any garment or promotional product as quickly as needed. Stop in and say hi.
Welcome to Joya Spa and Salon in Hamden. Whether you want a new look or the perfect wedding day hair, come to us for complete hair and nail care, cuts, styles, updos, extensions, and beautiful dimensional hair color, as well as manis and pedis, acrylics, gels, and shellac. Treat yourself to a facial, a peel, or microdermabrasion. Relax with a variety of massage techniques, including Swedish and hot stone massage. Joya Spa and Salon. Call today.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike's sub right now.
Come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken and cheese for just over $4. Giant cheesesteak subs and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q-Cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's.
Welcome to A Sheer Sensation, North Haven's premier cosmetology service, located at 140 Washington Avenue, minutes from Hamden. We offer an array of services from basic cuts and colors to lash extensions and formaldehyde-free keratin treatments. We also provide hair chalk and styling for men. When you spend $60, your Q card will get you 10% off. Call us at 203-239-6477 to make your next appointment at A Sheer Sensation.
As the 2014 MAAC Soccer Championships were held at the Quinnipiac Soccer Field over the weekend, and what a thrilling tournament it was.
That's right, Jordan. All 3 matches were decided by just 1 goal, and the Quinnipiac-Fairfield semifinal matchup went all the way to penalty kicks before being decided. Let's check it out. Now, we mentioned it went to penalty kicks, Fairfield and Quinnipiac in the MAAC Championship semifinal. We're going to jump right to those penalty kicks, and it's Fairfield starting things off. Jake Zuniga has the opportunity against Borja and Goita to start, and he converts. 1-0 Fairfield, they're up. Second penalty kick, and Goita with a chance to redeem himself, but he blasts one high up over the crossbar, keeping it at 1-0 in favor of Fairfield. Third kick now, and Goita jumping around, trying to distract Ben Whitcomb, and it works as he makes the save. 1-0 Fairfield still leads. Fourth penalty kick, Bobcats trying to tie it up, and they will as John Diaz is able to sneak one in past the post and get it past goaltender Matt Turner. We're tied at 1. Now we'll go to the 5th penalty kick. It's the backup goalie, Joe Martin, taking the shot, but he hits the left post. Bobcats dodge a bullet. 6th kick now, Toby Esch for Quinnipiac. He's denied by Turner. 1-1 remain. 7th kick now, Jonathan Huey walks in, shoots, tricks Borja. He never dives, doesn't make a move, gets frozen, and it's 2-1 Fairfield. Bobcats trying to tie things up and stay alive, but James Greco is denied again by Turner. And now one last chance for the Bobcats. Jordan Ayres walks in, shoots. Borja guesses right. He shoots it to his left. And that does it. Fairfield eliminates Quinnipiac in the MAAC Championship Soccer semifinal matchup. The Bobcats' undefeated season in the conference goes by the wayside, and Borja's illustrious Quinnipiac career comes to an end. Fairfield moves on to the MAAC Championship final.
The other semifinal game was Monmouth and Iona. After a scoreless first half, Monmouth netted the first 2 goals. It was Matt Jeffrey in the 46th minute and Andrew G in the 64th minute, scoring for the Hawks. Iona tried to come back with a goal in the 77th minute off the foot of Teddy Forson, but the Hawks would hold on for the 2-1 victory. And now we bring in our analyst, Nick Palma. Nick, how you doing?
How's it going, guys? Always a pleasure to be on board with you.
Well, Nick, let's start off. The midfield was notable for creating scoring chances all season long, but this wasn't the case on Friday, getting only 2 shots on goal. Could you tell us what happened on the field?
Well, guys, first off, I want to start out with saying that all season long, this midfield team of James Doig, James Greco, and Max Rothenbucher had really been putting up a stellar performance with setting up Rafael Carvalho and the MAAC leading goal scorer in Marshall Baker. Now, Marshall Baker was not effective in this one, as he was seen on the sideline for most of the game. Now, whether it was due to injury or whatnot, many speculate that he was down with the injury, which took him out of the game for a lot of time, and it really didn't really create a lot of open opportunities for this team because they had to focus on Rafael Carvalho, in which the Fairfield defense was able to key on Carvalho. Rafael Carvalho was not able to be that striker that they thought he could step up and be in place of Marshall Baker. So it really proved to be just really not what Quinnipiac had hoped going forward, because Baker had scored 10 goals throughout the season. Really had a great season going on long. It was very disappointing to see him not be effective in this one, because only getting 2 shots on goal. With 90 minutes of regulation and 2 overtimes, it's just, that's not what Eric DaCosta had in mind for this game in the semifinals performance.
Nick, another storyline with the Bobcats' loss is that senior goalkeeper Borjan Goita, he's done here at Quinnipiac. He's one of the best Quinnipiac players ever, one of the best MAAC players ever, and then back in the Northeast Conference as well. When he's gone, how does the team recuperate with having him not being there next fall?
Well, guys, it's really interesting because, with Angoita having the illustrious career, as you guys mentioned earlier in the segment, he's coming off back-to-back MAAC Goalkeeper of the Year awards, so that's really something worth noting. He helped get this team into the MAAC finals last year and win the championship, in their first year of the MAAC conference. That's something that everyone will remember for him doing. But as of right now, sophomore Brian Westerman is the only goalkeeper that remains on this roster with Angoita out of play. So right now, what you have to expect from this team is to, once recruiting season hits board right now, you're going to have to expect them to bring in another talented recruit that they feel confident in starting with right off the bat next year. I don't see Westerman as the goalkeeper for the future. That being said, whoever is going to be filling on Angoita's shoes, which will be a big role to replace, is going to have a lot of aid from this defensive back line. They're only losing one defensive back line in Ashton Pett. So returning Stevenson Hockey, Toby Ash, and Nick Lasowitz, who proved he could be a big-time starter for this defensive line, it's going to help whoever steps in place in that next year.
Now, the senior class has had a lot of success over their time here at Quinnipiac. Now, they obviously will not be part of the team next season. What do you think is their lasting legacy?
Well, the first thing that you have to note is this was a team, and for the 6 seniors that are going to be leaving this team, the core of them played with the Quinnipiac team once they were in the NEC. Now they transferred over to the MAAC conference, to the MAAC, as I said, and they were able to win the championship in their first year. That's going to be what everyone remembers them for, coming in the MAAC their first year and proving everyone that they were a force to be reckoned with. Same thing happened again, and moving forward, I think that for next year, they're really just going to have to rely on all these younger players, such as James Doig, Max Rothenbucher, to step up and help get goals on board. Losing Marshall Baker and Rafael Carvalho too at the offensive end isn't going to help them much either.
All right, Nick, thanks a lot. Now, we mentioned that Fairfield won. We showed you the highlight. We also showed you the Monmouth victory. So we're going to take a look at the championship matchup now between those 2 squads. Staying at the Quinnipiac men's soccer field, Monmouth and Fairfield, as we just talked about. We're going to jump right into the second half. Not a whole lot happened in the first half. Jordan Aries with the ball from about 35 yards out. For Fairfield, rips one home. Just like that, the Stags are up 1. But a few minutes later, Monmouth with a free kick opportunity. Derek Luke with a bomb from about midfield into the box. Nice header there by Matt Jeffrey, but Matt Turner with a diving save. However, there was a red card called on Angus Hastings in the penalty box, and that led to a penalty shot for Yaya Achiman. And he converts on this penalty shot. As you're going to see right here, he's going to fake, and that's going to throw Turner off. And he's able to bury it. And Coach Carl Reese was not happy with Hastings.
It's a moment of madness. You've got a freshman player that's, you tell me what he was thinking, but unfortunately he's reacted to something, and he's conceded a penalty, and he's got himself ejected. And at that point, you just shake your head and, who'd have kids,
So that's how they tied it. Let's sort of jump to double overtime now and see if they're able to win it. David Acuna Camacho is going to walk down the right side. He centers one in the box. It's punched out nicely by Matt Turner, but right to Dave Negro, and he buries one. And just like that, Monmouth is out in front, and they win the MAAC tournament title. As you can see them celebrating on the field. The Fairfield Stags players in shell shock. They can't believe they had the lead in this one about halfway through, and they just couldn't close out the deal. You see them celebrating after the game. Here's Coach Robert McCourt, his thoughts on the championship.
Yeah,
easy season. We had Jelani Williams, unfortunately, broke his leg in the semifinal. We had 5 guys out all of conference play, 5 starters out, and we just had guys step up. And I just kept telling the guys, like, look, I believe in us. We're an NCAA tournament team. I really believe in us. And they stuck by it, man. There were some tough times, and with all these injuries that they were, you know, we were up against it. And the guys, they deserve to be in the NCAA tournament. They've stayed tight as a group, and I'm really happy for them.
While the Bobcats may have lost the MAAC Championships, the team still brought home some hardware.
Well, Borjan Goita was named MAAC Goalkeeper of the Year and All-MAAC First Team. Joining him on the first team is Marshall Baker, Toby Esch, and James Doig.
Also, Rafael Carvalho was named to the All-MAAC Second Team and Shaquille Huggins to the All-MAAC Rookie Team.
Despite all the attention on the MAAC men's basketball season starting up over the weekend, QU women's basketball began their season with a couple of home contests versus Army and Hampton. The Bobcats started the season off with Army on Saturday. Let's check it out. Quinnipiac and Army women's basketball at Lender Court. Army ranked first in the preseason coaches poll. For the Patriot League, the Bobcats tied with Marist for first in the MAAC preseason poll. Quinnipiac down early, but they're able to tie things up as Boo Abshire gets one down to Val Driscoll. She knocks it in. Bobcats now tied at 9. Back the other way, Jean Parker's inbound pass to Kelsey Minato. She buries it, and Army takes the lead. Keep an eye on Minato throughout this one. Driscoll this time dishing it out to Sam Guastella for 3, and the Bobcats pull back in front. But Army would answer. Brianna Johnson to Minato. She knocks down a 3-pointer, and the Bobcats' lead is cut to 6. But final seconds of the half, Nikolai Ostergaard would put in the layup to extend the Quinnipiac lead back to 8. We'll go to the second half now. Jordan Elliott's got it for the Black Knights. She dribbles around a couple of defenders, kicks it out to Minato, who knocks down the 3-pointer, and Army only trails now by 11. Trying to cut things down. Minutes later, Elliott again to Minato for the jump shot. Draws the foul, knocks it down, would go on to make the free throw, and the Bobcats are only up 9. Army trying to complete the comeback as Danny Fowler sends it down low to Ortner for the layup, but the Bobcats would respond as Maria Napolitano finds Morgan Mans for the jumper. She hits it, and then a few moments later, Ostergaard back to Mans, this time for 3. She knocks that down as well. Bobcats take the 20-point lead, and they would go on to win 79-64. Coach Trish Fabry, what'd you think?
Our young ladies did a great job adjusting to our rules defensively, holding 2-time defending player of the year, Kelsey Minato to 5 of 18 from the floor. And as the team, I think just 34% overall. And we were able to shoot almost 51%. I think those numbers are pretty gaudy for the first game, and I think they look better than a lot of the games that we had last year. So good start to the season.
It was exciting. I mean, I feel like we hadn't really fully done the Gold Rush in about a good 2 seasons, so it was like exciting to do that again and get fresh feet, and we're deep, so we have a lot of players that played well, and it's all over the board, which is fun.
Now, Mark and his new suit have stepped away for a bit, but Jordan Katz is back to talk a little women's basketball this time. Jordan, we called the game together on Saturday against Army, so let's talk about it a little bit. Starting off, big surprise of the game. The Gold Rush is back this year. Tell me a little about what you saw out at the Gold Rush.
I didn't see a lot that sort of fills me with confidence. I saw a Gold Rush unit that, to me, Jordan, they were as inconsistent as we mentioned earlier with Kasim Chandler. They had their moments where they looked really good, and then they had their moments where they struggled. They didn't do a great job defending. We mentioned on air that they had a 16-point advantage, and Trish Fabry pulled the hook and went to the Gold Rush, and then the lead quickly became 7 against Army. I think they need to find a true point guard. Brianna Ramos has talked about as being that true point guard, but the question is whether she actually can be it. The team certainly believes in her, but can she captain the floor? Can she play defense on an opposing team's one? Can she score and just provide a little bit of scoring? When the Gold Rush was the old rush, quote unquote, 2 years ago, Lisa Liebeck ran the point, and Lisa Liebeck was great at it because she played great defense. She could make a shot when she had to, but she was good at spreading the ball. The Bobcats have found out how to replace Lisa Liebeck on that Gold Rush at the point guard spot. The second thing that they struggled with is the fact that they had Felicia Barron, so they could go to that Gold Rush because Felicia Barron and with the first unit could score on her own, and they struggled with how to replace Felicia Barron. And they went to the Gold Rush, but they didn't have the depth that they once had because, remember, you had starters, Nikolai Ostergaard in particular, that was on that Gold Rush unit because Felicia Barron was the starter. Now she's Now she's a starter on this team. Now do you have that depth? The key is the freshman. If the freshman down the stretch, if somewhere you can get production out of Jen Fay or Sarah Schuin, one of them, it doesn't matter which one, but one of them has to step up because Maria Napolitano can score, and you've got players on that unit that can do the same. Can one of those freshmen step up and provide valuable minutes? That's the key. And if they can, this Gold Rush can go the whole season.
All right, let's talk about a senior who's being counted on to produce a lot for this team, Jasmine Martin. She only had 4 points in the game, really struggled, was in foul trouble for most of the game, but this team still won by a large margin.
Yeah.
What does that tell you about this year's team?
It tells you that this team has a lot of depth. It tells you that Sam Guastella, Nicoline Ostergaard, Val Driscoll all proved that they can score. Bu Abshire can score the ball when she wants to. And it shows you that this team's got senior leadership. The key for Jasmine Martin for the rest of the year, if Jasmine Martin can be the defensive stopper for this team, we mentioned Felicia Barron a little while ago. Felicia Barron was a great defensive stopper for the Bobcats when they went and won 30 games and won the NEC. If Jasmine Martin can be that, I spoke with Trish Fabry. Trish Fabry thinks she can. That's why she put Jasmine Martin on the opposing team's best player, and they probably will do that for a lot of the year. If Jasmine Martin can be that top stopper, that go-to defender, there's not as much pressure on her to score because she's doing her job at the other side. Remember, in basketball, it starts with defensive stops. That's where it comes first. You have to get your stops on the defensive end before you can go score the ball on the offensive end. So if Martin can be a big stopper, that can really help this team.
So now let's talk about the 3 players that stepped up in this game with Jasmine Martin not playing too well. Sam Guastella, Nicoline Ostergaard, and Val Driscoll. Which of those 3 do you think was the biggest one in this game?
That's a tough one because they were all so impactful in their own way. You mentioned Nicoline Ostergaard on the broadcast, and we were talking about it before the show started, and you said Nicoline Ostergaard again as the answer to this question, and I'm going to say it's Val Driscoll. And the reason why I'm going to say Val Driscoll, look, Nicoline Ostergaard played a terrific game. Nicoline Ostergaard has proven that she can be very crafty with the basketball, and she can score. And she can score sometimes at will. She's got a great low post game. She can distribute the ball, really does it all. And with more minutes, I expect her to do more of that. Val Driscoll's so important for this team because Val Driscoll has the important job of replacing Brittany McQuain. And there's no real way to replace Brittany McQuain, but what you can do, in the wise words of yourself, is you recreate her, right? And you can recreate her through the production. And the production that is going to be given is a combination between Sam Guastella and Val Driscoll. Sam Guastella looks like she's going to be just one of the leaders on this team, and she's going to be a consistent threat every night. If Val Driscoll can be that, if Val Driscoll can be a scorer, a defensive force, she had 2 blocks, Sam Guastella had 3. If they can both be defensive force and score the ball, this team could maybe win the MAAC.
All right, thanks for coming in, Jordan.
Thank you.
The women's basketball team returned to the court against Hampton earlier today, winning in blowout fashion 87-59. 5 Bobcats scored in double digits, with Jasmine Martin leading the way with 15 points. But here's a stat for you. Quinnipiac held Hampton to 24% shooting in the game. The Bobcats are out to a quick 2-0 start on the season. And up next on Sports Paws, we've talked a lot about basketball and soccer, but there was some good hockey this past weekend as well. We'll bring you all the highlights of the women's action and recap the men's weekend road trip. Don't go away.
The Bobcat Shop, located at 1010 Sherman Avenue in Hampden. Your #1 choice for Bobcat merchandise. The Bobcat Shop features 2 floors of countless styles and colors. With a full 19,000 square foot screen printing and embroidery operation on the premises, Campus Customs and Simplify can design and decorate any garment or promotional product as quickly as needed. Stop in and say hi.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike sub right now.
Come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken and cheese for just over $4. Giant cheesesteak subs and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q-Cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's.
Welcome to Joya Spa and Salon in Hampden. Whether you want a new look or the perfect wedding day hair, come to us for complete hair and nail care, cuts, styles, updos, extensions, and beautiful dimensional hair color, as well as manis and pedis, acrylics, gels, and shellac. Treat yourself to a facial, a peel, or microdermabrasion. Relax with a variety of massage techniques, including Swedish and hot stone massage. Joya Spa and Salon. Call today.
Welcome to A Sheer Sensation, North Haven's premier cosmetology service, located at 140 Washington Avenue, minutes from Hampden. We offer an array of services from basic cuts and colors to lash extensions and formaldehyde-free keratin treatments. We also provide hair chalk and styling for men. When you spend $60, your Q card will get you 10% off. Call us at 203-239-6477 to make your next appointment at A Sheer Sensation.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. We're going to jump from the hardwood to the ice. Let's check out Quinnipiac and Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. That's the full name, Jordan. Women's ice hockey at High Point Solutions Arena. And the Bobcats get up on the board pretty quickly as Nicole Costa buries one early in the first period. But Brianna Piper actually made a few saves in this one as she stops a couple of shots here from Nicole Connery. So RPI hanging in there. We go to the second period, but they won't be for long as Erika Udinio-Hansen comes down the right wing, fires one home. It's 2-0 Bobcats. Now on the power play. Costa's got it, and they're working it around nicely here. She sends it over to Udinio-Hansen. In between the circles for Darkangelo. She buries it, and the Bobcats now lead 3-0. We'll go to the third period now. RPI trying to clear it out of the zone, but the Engineers really struggling in this one, and it would continue as TT Cianfrano picks it up, centers one for Connery. She buries it. Nicole Connery too good to be left alone in front like that. 5-0 now later in the third, and RPI finally gets on the board as they push one through past Chelsea Layden with a scrum in front. But it won't be enough as the Engineers try to clear it one more time, but Taryn Baumgart unleashes a bomb from the point, one-timer. Bobcats win 6-1. Here's what Coach Rick Seeley had to say about the dominating win.
Wisconsin or Minnesota or Clarkson was in our building tonight, they might have been at a different level of urgency. So live and learn. In the past, we haven't won games like this, so it's nice that we have the depth to still pull out games like this. And right until about 8 minutes left, we held them to about 5 or 6 shots. So overall, defensively, we had some great efforts and some great back checks. But in terms of a complete game, we have some work to get back to where we were.
And Quinnipiac Union in the second game of the weekend. This one, same blowout. But you're going to see a great performance by the Union goaltender Shanae Lundberg here in the first period. A shot by Lindsay West is picked up by Lundberg. 0-0 now. And a few minutes later, still in the first period, TT Cianfrano is going to try to put one in. Lundberg again, another save. Game still 0-0. But Sydney Rosser here shoots one. Lundberg can't get that one. It's 1-0 Quinnipiac. Now we're going to head to the second period. And it's Erika Udinio-Hansen. She takes the puck. A shot. Another save by Lundberg. Still 1-0 Quinnipiac. Later on in the period, Emma Woods takes the puck, she shoots. Lundberg again. Still 1-0 Quinnipiac. Later on second period, Udinio-Hansen trying again. This time she's going to get the puck and she's going to put it in the net. 2-0 Quinnipiac. At the end of the second period, it was 29-2 Quinnipiac in shots. Now to the third period, this one's all goals. Nicole Costa, she shoots one. She can't get it past Lundberg, but keeps trying, and finally it goes in. 3-0 Quinnipiac. Later on, Emma Woods. She takes the pass. She puts it in the net. 4-0 Quinnipiac. And then the icing on the cake, Udinio-Hansen takes the pass here. Beautiful pass. Beautiful shot. Quinnipiac wins 5-0. Quinnipiac outshot Union in this game 63-8. There's a new USCHO.com poll for the women. The Quinnipiac Bobcats moved up to 4 in this week's poll. You see there Boston College up at 1. They stay there. Minnesota staying at 2. Wisconsin staying at 3. But Michigan State, previously not ranked, they move up to 9th in the rankings. Meanwhile, the QU men's hockey squad also continued its hot streak over the weekend. The Bobcats hit the road to top defending national champion Union Friday night on a Travis St. Denis goal with just over 50 seconds left to play.
Then on Saturday, St. Denis powered Quinnipiac to a 3-1 victory over RPI with a hat trick. The victories make it 6 in a row for the Bobcats, who now hold a 7-2-1 record overall and sit atop the ECAC standings at 4-0. And with that 6-game winning streak, Q has climbed back up the USCHO.com national poll. Quinnipiac jumped from 20th last week to 14th this week, with several teams losing in front of them. Michigan Tech leaped from 5th place to the top overall spot after spending the first 3 weeks of the season unranked. The Huskies remain the only undefeated team left in Division I college hockey and grabbed 24 first-place votes. Quinnipiac is joined by number 6 Colgate and number 15 Union as the only ECAC squads in the top 20.
And with the 4 goals he tallied on the road trip, Travis St. Denis earned the ECAC Player of the Week award. He was the only player in the conference to score 2 game-winning goals on the weekend, and this marks the first time he's been honored as Conference Player of the Week.
But not to be outdone, Erika Uden-Johansson also earned ECAC Player of the Week honors on the women's side. The senior captain tallied 1 goal and 2 assists versus RPI on Friday, and then scored 2 goals and added 1 assist in the win over Union on Saturday. It was the first time Uden-Johansson won the award this season, and it's the 3rd time of her career. And while the hockey teams continue their successful seasons, the Quinnipiac women's rugby squad opened up the ACRA national tournament with a pair of regional victories over Army and Brown. QU topped Army 46-17 and Brown 46-20.
And with those victories, they advanced to the tournament semifinals in Palm Coast, Florida on December 6th. They will take on Penn State for the right to play the winner of Norwich and Indiana in the national final. Now that does it for this week's episode of Sports Paws. Thank you for joining us.
And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Q30 Sports and check out our website at Q30television.com.
From everyone here at Q30, have a happy and healthy Thanksgiving.
For Jordan Siegler, I'm Mark Spillane. Good night, everyone.